Call to order again if you don't mind, please.
Oh, no, no problem. That's proper.
Okay, you should be good.
Awesome.
All
Thank
right,
you.
we're good. All right. So let's call the January 7th public hearing slash committee meeting to order so that we may prepare ourselves to receive comments from the public regarding their thoughts, their ideas regarding the naming of the Southside school. So let us receive those individuals with open arms and listen carefully at their passionate statements. Okay,
I just want to run through the process a little bit for the members of the committee, what's involved here with
beautiful.
hello, thank you. So the written registration process for the board is generally opened at noon on the Friday before any meetings take place on Monday night. So in this case, we've had an extra day because we're on Tuesday night. So the written registration portal was open on Friday at noon. And then what we do for public appearances, we usually give people an hour ahead of the meeting of a virtual meeting to register. And both of those processes are laid out in the agenda under public input in board docs. So that's always the procedure. We follow the exact same thing that we do for the Board of Education.
Right.
Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure I'm going to check in with Jesse one last time here, but I don't think we heard anything from either avenue, unfortunately. And as I was discussing with Mr. Jones, there's probably a lot of reasons for that. And one is you're just coming off the holidays. It has been kind of a trying time around Madison lately too. But there's all kinds of reasons why people don't participate in this process. And
Right.
I was mentioning to him also that I don't think we've all gotten a lot of public hearings this way for any school namings in the past, but there's usually a few, certainly from the school community. So, it's disappointing when we don't hear when we're doing our best to reach out and give people an opportunity to be public about it at a meeting like this. But we, as you know, we have received quite a bit of public input on the website, although that kind of slowed down as well. However, going forward, I can tell you that once we move now to the Board of Education venue, which will happen in February, they will do the exact same process that we just did at both the work group meeting and the regular meeting before the naming is taken up on the agenda. So we will have a considerable amount of time between now and then to get more public input, and that will be our focus internally with the staff. We'll do some more communications push and definitely try to reach out more. So we should be hearing more again as the board process moves on.
Now, for the board meetings, I know we talked, you, me, and Anu talked about attending. I believe it was the actual working board meeting, not the pre-board meeting. Is that right? Or can we attend both? Because they'll be receiving public hearing at both.
So the members should definitely feel invited to come to both of those meetings. So
Okay.
we'll have an instruction work group meeting. I'll give you the dates here. They're in the agenda. I just want to open it up here.
All right.
So February 3rd is the instruction work group meeting. And February 24th would then be the final vote for the board. And sometimes they take that meeting out to the school when they're doing a naming. So it
Oh,
might
really?
actually be held at Southside.
Okay.
But we'll let you know about those plans as we get a little bit further down the road here.
That's
But
interesting.
those meetings you're certainly invited to attend.
Okay.
And definitely, if we had public appearances on the naming, you would definitely benefit from hearing that, I'm sure.
Right. Okay. Good point. All righty. Sounds good. Mhm.
So, in any case, we definitely have achieved quorum. Thank you and welcome to everybody, and Happy New Year to everybody.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you for being here. So, just following the agenda through, the next item is the approval of minutes for December 17th.
All right. Okay. Is there any action from the committee on the December 17 minutes of our meeting? Floor is open for any action item.
I
Okay,
move
then.
that we accept it
Right.
as written.
All right. Motion properly made to accept the minutes as written by Ed Murray. Is there a second?
Darlene seconded.
Darlene? Okay. And I'm on my phone, so I can't see you all, but I do hear you. Thanks, Darlene. Second properly made. So let's carry the motion forward. Motion has been made and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposes? Opposition?
I don't see any hands.
Any abstentions?
don't
Hearing
see
none,
any.
seeing none. Okay, beautiful. And I'm sure Barb and Jesse, thank you all for your attention to the business matter of the committee. Our minutes are really reflective of the business decisions we make. So thank you all for giving those your attention. All righty. Okay. All right. So minutes are now approved. And I don't have the agenda in front of me, but I know the next couple of items, we always talk about any new comments or commentary regarding the name, Barb.
So we didn't get any comments via the website this time either. Nothing new. That's
Okay.
pretty slow, but no, we did not get anything new since our last meeting.
All righty.
And then
Go ahead.
the next agenda item is research on proposals, and that's just there. It
Right.
just stays on every agenda so that that information is available there. Doesn't require any discussion unless the committee has a need for that.
All right. Are
And
there any
then,
follow-up questions on that agenda item that Barb just mentioned? The floor is open. All right. Seeing that, one thing that I was thinking about, or I think it was right before New Year's, is did we ever conclude the communication we were having with the Wisconsin State Journal and the way their article was written, which was a little bit off track regarding the process, the naming, the evaluation, and so forth? Was there any final conclusion from the district to Wisconsin State Journal, or from the district to
I
Wisconsin
didn't
State
hear
Journal?
anything from our communications director on that. I do know that the information was shared with the reporter.
Okay.
I also know that the follow-up article that was done on this work was pretty well written. So it was factual and gave the details that we needed. So it was a good article. I don't know
Okay.
that there's been anything recently.
All righty. No, it was just a flashback I had. I know we had talked about it. There'd been some actions to reach out to the State Journal staff, but hadn't concluded. So this is one where it sounds like we'll just leave alone. I mean, not let go, but just leave it alone and see if there are any other follow-up going forward, because there could be some other comments from the State Journal regarding the next steps in our process, particularly the public hearing, because typically the press could come to that public hearing to cover, receive comments, and so forth. Am I saying that right, Barb?
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Sure. So,
For sure.
okay. All righty. So, didn't mean to disrupt the agenda flow, but
No problem.
that item was still alive and well in my mind. All right.
Appreciate the question. Yes, I definitely will be following up internally. I can promise you that.
Beautiful. All right. Hey, don't want to leave anyone hanging, but if there are any follow-up questions for Barb on the follow-up information we now have, regarding those articles that were written, or that article that was written, which was off center. This is the time to raise them. If not, we'll move on to our next agenda item. Usually about this point in our meeting, we're beginning to talk about or deliberate on the proposals, but we've actually covered that quite well. I thought great discussion, great analytical application on all of you and each of you that did go through that process. Bob walked us through the ranking process. That seemed to work well. So I guess if there are any on this particular agenda item of the deliberation of the proposals, if there are any questions or follow-ups or clarifications, I'm sure Barb can do them. So we'll just open the floor for any kind of follow-up or reactions from the members.
Yeah, so at this point, we had some public input at this point, would have given the committee a chance to digest that information and then get to this item and either confirm or, potentially discuss the 4 names that have been proposed and the rank order that they are in. So I just don't want to review that for members of the public who are watching or listening. The
Okay.
4 names are in this order are I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong screen.
Take your time.
I want to make sure I have this in the right order.
Right.
So Southside Community, Ada Deer, Lori Mancari,
Yeah.
and 9 Springs.
Yep. Those were the 4.
So unless there are any other questions or any other discussion necessary at this point, those 4 names will be advancing to the instruction work group meeting for the Board of Education on February 3rd, and you're all invited to attend that meeting. Mr. Jones will be asked to formally make the recommendations to the board at that meeting.
Exactly. All right. So no. Oh. I would ask the committee members to, just put that date on your calendars. Would welcome each of us to be available, but it just sounds like we'll carry forward the recommendation from the committee, which seems to be just kind of protocols. We ought to be good to go.
I'll send out a communication to before that meeting so that you're aware. I'll give you the link to the meeting to be able to attend, and the YouTube link, so you can just watch it if you prefer to do it that way.
Good point.
So we'll do that before both of the meetings that come up in February.
Excellent. Okay. That's reasonable.
I would like to again take advantage of the time to thank all of you for your participation. It's been a pleasure working with all of you. I know it's been a struggle a little bit along the way in this one. So you made it to the finish line and you did the work, and thank you so very much on behalf of the MMSD and the Southside community. So
Beautiful.
We'll see how this ends up with the Board of Education.
Excellent. So I think one of the things that I was thinking of is you mentioned that one of the hearings, I believe it would be the full board hearing, could be the work group hearing, might be held at that facility. And I was thinking now that would be really good, because I have deep down kind of intrinsically thought it would be nice to visit that building to see what it really looks like, to see what kind of feel I can feel there. So so now, was there a tour of that building, Barb? Do you know?
I highly recommend reaching out to the principal at any time if you want to see the school. Definitely.
Oh.
Anu, do you want to
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
I think that would be wonderful. We can set up a time. I can speak with the interim principal over there, Miss Andrea Kraft, and we can take you through. It's a beautiful space, beautiful children and staff. We will, I'm sure you'll enjoy your time there. So I'll help set that up.
Now I'm going to be a little bit, and committee members, please give me a little deference on this. As we move into Black History Month, a lot of the schools have they invite community members to come in, read to classes, first, second, third graders, that kind of thing, and just interact with students. Do you know if if the principal and the school officials there have scheduled some type of event that would include public role models, grown-ups coming in, engaging with those students over a day or that kind of a thing, or a half day, that so forth and so on. One program I'm familiar with is called The Right to Read, and it's one I've been participating in out in Oregon for the last 4 years. So I go out, and I like to to work with the lower, younger classes, first, second, and third graders, because we can animate when we read those books. So I was just wondering, that could be an opportune time sometime in February to pull something like that together as well.
I can speak to that. Yeah, we saved the date. February 14th is our school's Read Your Heart Out event. Across the
Oh,
month,
okay.
there's many schools hosting on different days, and there's also competition for different days, but Southside's the best school. Um,
Okay.
The one thing I will explicitly name is that this event is in honor of National African American Parent Involvement Day.
Yeah,
So we really are prioritizing Black families and Spanish speakers to speak in our DLI classrooms. But
good.
um, I have a save the date that I would be happy to share with anybody
Please.
who needs it.
Yes. Yes. Share it with me, because I tend to try to participate in many of those events, because it's a fun thing to watch young learners' eyes brighten up and just shine when we have those engagements. Please share it with me.
Very good.
All right.
Mr. Murray has his hand up.
Oh, yeah,
All right.
the 100 Black Men of Madison has chosen 10 elementary schools, and I believe this is one of them. Leopold is the other, and there's many other. But of the 10,
Yeah.
we will be in the school doing the same thing, similar
Good.
to reading to the students, backing the staff and whatever they may need to help some of the students. And we're specifically guiding in African American history
Yeah.
to the kids. This will be like a feeder to our program in which we do with the middle school and the high school of African American History Challenge Bowl, which we've done for over 30 some years now. Well, 28
Yeah.
years. So yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. No, you all are doing some great work. And one of the things that the Education Committee for the NAACP has been talking about recently is, how do we reclaim our legacy in the month of February this year? So one of the objectives is to, one, try to work with a couple of our schools and see if we can have a tour of some of our young students, all students, not just African American students, to attend Milton House down in Janesville. The legacy and history of Milton House, being one of the stops along the Underground Railroad, is sometimes forgotten. So our education chair said she would really like to pull together a group of students. She was talking about Madison, but I think this could apply to students in Beloit, Janesville, Milwaukee, all over, but particularly Madison. So you may hear a little bit more about that, Dr. Anu, about if we can do it, how can we do it, how can we begin to realize that that's a relic, that facility, the Milton House. And it's been years since I've been there. When I was a recruiter for Eau Claire and was recruiting the high schools in Janesville, I went there a few times and just to feel it. But one of the things I couldn't quite determine from history was, did who actually stopped in that house? So I'm going to be a little quiet and do a little research and find out if our sojourner who made those trips to and from the freedom land to the slave land did land there. So, but I thought that would be interesting. So I'm going to just follow that up and see what happens with that as well.
Well, these are all fantastic, Mr. Jones. Thank you so much. Thank you. And
Well,
thank you, by the way, for chairing this committee. You've done an outstanding job. Thank you.
well, we're going to move it forward. All right. We're not quite done, but we're getting there.
Almost.
All right.
Almost.
Okay.
Thank you for everything, everyone. I'm not putting myself on the screen this tonight because I broke my foot, so I'm kind of in a weird. I got my foot up in
Oh,
the air
wow.
and I look really
Oh.
weird. So I'm looking at see.
Okay.
In any
Wow.
case, I'm smiling and I'm very happy to see all of you, and I wish you a very happy new year.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. So just doing a little check-in. Is there anyone either standing in the waiting room to speak on the issue yet?
Nope, still nobody.
Still no one. Okay. All right. So, but Bob, you mentioned at the beginning, we would give them 30 minutes. We'd keep the meeting open for 30 minutes to allow for their input. And we're not quite at 30. Where are we on the agenda? Seems to me there's one other item that we might want to cover, or have we covered the full agenda?
I think we covered everything, including the schedule going forward here.
Okay.
Yes, if you are of a mind, we can recess for a little bit until we reach the 30-minute mark, or you can adjourn now. It's totally up to you.
That's an option. And I'm going to just ask the committees of record who are here, what's your sense to adjourn now? We've given, according to my clock, we've given 24 minutes of time and no takers. So what's your thinking? Adjourn now, move it forward, or wait another 6 minutes?
I really think 6 more minutes is not going to hurt us.
Okay.
And then we've really done the gauntlet as to what we should really do as a committee,
Okay.
rather than to call it now.
All
I'll
righty.
take that 6 minutes just to adjourn.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Actually, it's down to 5 now. So I hear
Okay.
you. No, I'm open, but I think that when we make a decision like this, that it ought to have input from each and every one of us, and I think that that it makes sense to me. But Barb did give us the layout, and I think as we move forward, this committee would feel better by saying we did hold our public hearing. We had it available for public input for 30 minutes. No public engaged, but we are going forward and making sure that things happen. So, so I'm in favor that we give it the remainder of the 30-minute time frame, and then we'll call it. But we wanted to make sure that we did cover all of our agenda items, and it sounds like we did. All right. Okay.
I guess I will take this opportunity then to ask if people have any input that they want to give the district about the process, policy, anything that we've done to get through this process. Feel free to send an email. And I will definitely send that on to the group that will be carrying on this work. There are probably 4 other schools in the hopper right now waiting to start this process. So as soon as we're done with this one, a new one will probably shortly begin thereafter.
How often so is this a process, the renaming process is usually done individually and separately from another building or another school, or are they ever done collaboratively or together?
That's a good question, but we've done them all separately, and we've stuck to our 2 school names a year.
2 a year.
Practice.
Didn't know that. Gotcha.
Yeah, because it generally takes the good part of a semester to get the work done.
So once the board chooses this name, and then conducts all the research and all of the legalities they have to do to affix the name to the building, how long is it going to take for that name to really appear formally and publicly on or to that building?
We generally give the internal process about a school year's time to plan the celebration, to order the signage if that is needed, and to run all the other internal processes that take place when you change the name of a school. There's, we have to contact DPI, we have to let them know about the process that we just went through. So several things like that are on a check sheet for members of the internal staff to take care of.
Okay. So, and typically at that point, is it mostly board work that's being concluded? Because I was thinking that once you make that formal announcement and DPI does its recognition thing, the state of Wisconsin, I'm sure, will do some of its stuff. Is it usually just board and staff working on it, or can committee members come back and be a part of that formal identification conclusion process?
So certainly when the celebration is planned, I would guess that the school would reach out to members of the committee to ask them to be a part of that celebration in
Okay.
whatever capacity they are comfortable with.
Yeah.
It usually takes place in, when it's warm outside and we can go out and have food and all of
Good.
that. So, it's a really good, they try to time it. So it's pretty close to like the beginning of a new school year or the end of the school year, something like that. So people are around.
Excellent. Excellent. I'll keep that in mind. And once we begin to pull together those long-term decisions and actions that's got to be made, kind of get me the dates. So at least I can have them, put them on my calendar and try to work through some of them, work around and work through some of them.
Definitely will follow up with that for sure.
All right. So I guess what I would like to do now as we close in on the last minute of open time for this meeting is ask Darlene to think about bringing us some closing. Each of the meetings we've had a member to bring about some closing thoughts to the meeting. So Darlene, we're going to put you on the spot tonight and say, close us out in your own way and in your own words.
Now, I do think I've done it twice.
You have done it twice?
Yeah.
Huh.
Today.
Well, okay, now I can't see you. Is Choi on tonight?
She is.
Yes, I'm here.
How about it? Let's ask her to
Yes.
close us out in her own way, own words.
Okay. So I was just thinking yesterday when I was, standing, being in line for the whole callovers and how this community, have all rallied up to support each other, no matter if it's, the private or public sector. But as a community at, Madison and, the surrounding area, Monona and McFarland, we're all a pretty strong community. So going forward, we all should just support each other and, to lift each other up as a community and as a whole with this trying time of 2025. I think community is very important.
Excellent. All right. Nope. Very well said, very well felt. And I can only wholeheartedly agree with those words and that sentiment, Choi. So I just want to thank you. So those words brought us to the end of the meeting. And just to bounce back, making sure that there's no one in the waiting room to speak. If not, Barb, we're going to ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting. Anyone in the waiting room?
No one in the waiting room.
All right. Then may I have a motion from the committee members to adjourn this meeting this evening?
I move that we adjourn.
All right. There's a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. Excellent. Thank you, Ben. We want to appreciate each and every one of you all. Well, that's not debatable. So once it's been seconded, it's really in effect. Well, thank you all. Thank you, Bob, for putting it together. Thank you for opening up the opportunity to the public. And as we go forward, we may get more from our public. So it's been a great joy working with each and one of you. I'll remember each and every one of you. And let us not forget the bond that we built here. Let's make it work for us and for others. So appreciate your time. So everybody be safe. And let's have a great 2025. Thank you.
Here,
Thank you.
here,
Thank you.
here, here.
Thank you all.
All right. All
Bye-bye,
right.
everyone.
Good night, everybody.